Black pearl, precious little girl, you've been in the background much too long. Black pearl, precious little girl, come into the sunshine where you belong. Black pearl, black girl, hiding behind the body of a little boy. You knew you were different from the start. Deep in your heart, you would always stand apart from those who were normal, whatever that is. So the first time I heard poetry was in first grade, growing up in Chicago. Gwendolyn Brooks came to our classroom. I just remember her telling us, all of you guys can write poetry. I don't think I actually wrote my first poem until I was 14, when I read this poem by Don L. Lee, who is now known as Haki Madhubuti. And it was a poem called I Want to Thank You for My Beautiful Black Woman. And that poem touched me so deeply, and I thought to myself, I want to write poetry. Being engaged in poetry and having people respond positively to my work, that entree started to help me become more out in public.
So what else been going on?
Man, I did a TED Talk a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
Yes.
Andrea does so many things with her different art forms. She's working on plays, performances, her poetry, her chapbooks, the visual art, the collages. She's had quite a career. She's really a community icon. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I know, me too.
I mean, you do a lot of speaking. I mean, you travel around, right?
I do.
Andrea is a pioneer, not just as a transgender artist, but in a lot of different forms. And I know she's always experimenting with what she's doing, and now being part of an oral history project.
I have the distinct honor and pleasure to have been named the oral historian for the Transgender Oral History Project. Wow, we're almost to interview number 100. So June, why don't you just introduce yourself?
My name is June Remus. I am female, post-operative transsexual. I've had the surgery. I was born male.
Okay.
And I'm from Des Moines, Iowa.
From Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, just a little country girl.
It's a 3-year project in which we are planning to interview up to 200 individuals about transgender and gender non-conforming people throughout the upper Midwest.
I had already been, New York, California, Colorado, to check on who's doing what and what the surgery was and what the results were.
Sure.
And I found that the doctor that was here was doing all the corrective work. So I'm going to do it. I called my mother and I told her I was going to do it. As she hung up on me, she hung up on me and she slammed that phone down so bad, I think she broke that phone.
Wow. The goal and the purpose of the project is to really provide context, provide awareness, to change the cultural narrative around the transgender community by listening and sharing the stories of transgender people.
And the day before I had my surgery, the phone rang. I was getting ready to go to the hospital then, and it was my mother. And she said, "Are you still going through with it?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Okay, come and get me." I said, "Come and get you? You live in Des Moines. I'm not driving all the way down there." She said, "No, I'm here at the bus station. Come and get me." I can't let my
Really?
child go through this without me.
Wow.
And from that day, she never, ever uttered my male name again.
It's really interesting talking to some of the older participants in the project, comparing and contrasting it to some of the younger participants, and pushing the notions of what gender is. There's just so much creativity that I'm being inspired by from hearing these stories and being able to collect and document these stories from these incredible human beings that are sort of pushed to the margins of our society. Thank you, dear.
Okay.
I actually do an oral history project at the University of Minnesota, and I'm always looking for interesting people to sit down and talk to.
It's a lot of fun. You should do it.
I would love to.
The Transgender Equity Summit is a collaboration of the city of Minneapolis and the Minneapolis Institute of Arts this year. What we do is we bring members of the transgender community together with other policymakers and community leaders to talk about what are the issues that are impacting the transgender community. As transgender and gender non-conforming people, we create our own path, our own destiny. Our bodies are literally a work of art. And I think you guys should give yourselves a big round of applause. I think the function of art in community and society is to inspire people to become more interested and more engaged in the issues of our time. A deepened understanding of race and culture requires the following, and then some more. If it's in an artistic form, it has a broader ability to connect to the human soul in ways that a protest slogan or a march or a sit-in just doesn't possess. And that's the power of art in activism. Tell them to strategize about that tomorrow. But when we say tomorrow, we really mean today.